Who is the ideal reader for this story? Who are you most hoping that this is going to reach?
So they say the book is for teenagers. I think all YA, they say 12 and up. I find a lot of my books are read by adults. So I think it's about 50-50 between being read by adults and teenagers. I'm often asked, I was just at a book festival in Lititz, Pennsylvania, which is in the Bible Belt of Pennsylvania, in the middle of the state. And there were a lot of teachers and librarians there, and they asked me what it was about. I told them it was a horror novel, and they said, is it clean? So to them, they wanted to know, does it say the F word? And is there any sex in the book? So I can say it doesn't say the F word and there is no sex in the book. So in that respect, it's clean. In the demonic possession, evil creepiness thing, they were fine with that. So it depends on, the parent and what you're worried about your kid reading. But if you're cool with horror and you don't get scared easily, then I think the book is for you. I also love that it has a male and a female point of view. So I think it appeals more to boys than any of my other books have. And I have gotten a lot of feedback from male readers. So I think that's something new for this book for me. I'd never written a book from the male point of view. So I think it has a little bit more outreach in that respect.
And when did you know this would be a dual perspective story?
Honestly, right away. I instantly, when I had the thought of Vera, I'm like, okay, well, she would be swept up in investigating something, but the action is happening somewhere else. It's happening in someone else's house. So if she's only showing up after the fact, she wouldn't be there for all of the good stuff. And so in order for somebody to be there for all of the good stuff, you have to have a point of view of somebody in that house. And to me, it was just Max. He just came to my head immediately that I wanted the energy to be a male and a female character rather than two female characters.
When you sit down with an idea like this, how much do you have the whole thing? Do you have some sort of vague outline? What do you start with when you get going?
So normally I start with the premise. I'm a plotter. You'll hear a lot of authors say that they don't have a lot of plot and they, are mostly character this. And for me, I always have way too much plot and I end up having to scale it a lot back to fit a typical word length of a young adult novel. So I always have a ton of plot. So that's where I start with the concept. And then when I get the characters all formulating in my head, I usually ask 3 questions of every single character in the story, not just the main character, but the side characters as well, which is, what do they fear? What do they want? And what are they willing to do to get it? And I think if you can answer those questions really in depth, you're already on your way to your character arc, to feeling how your character is going to change by the end of it in order to get what it is that they want.
Do you sit down and actually write that out on a separate sheet?
I do. I write down I have big artist sketchbooks, that you would buy at CVS, the big spiral, huge sketchbooks. And I do write a lot of my character stuff on there. And I write my day-to-day stuff. So as I'm writing the book, I'll write in that sketchbook, like what I'm going to write tomorrow, like what the next scene is. But my actual overarching plot, I tend to dictate into the notes app of my phone. I think better when I'm walking or moving. So I'll walk around outside or on the treadmill and I'll just dictate into my phone what the plot is and what the characters are and what the plot holes might be. And if he does this and how does it affect that? And I dictate all that into my notes app and then import that into Microsoft Word, make sense of it, try to form it into an outline. And then I write the whole thing in Scrivener, which is a novel writing software app.